There are balls. I know this sounds funny. There is work ball, there is health ball, there is family ball, and there is relationship ball. You might know people who lock in and go all in with their grind and hustle, that they kind of forget that they even have a life. Basically, they are kind of the real ones who are suffering from success. These are the people who go all in and they kind of miss all the important things which life has to offer. Maybe watching their kids grow, maybe even missing important events in their close friends or relatives' lives, and which only occur once in a while or once in a lifetime. So these are all the people who also end up being depressed because the lack of life which they are not living, or to put it in the better words, they don't have a life apart from work because all they do is grind. And honestly, grind at certain levels is good, but people often don't know how to really balance the work and life together. And again, the video title says you just need balance. And honestly, that's the whole point of this video, that you really don't need balance. Holy shit, man, this tree, this light, it's looking sick. Bro, look at this. Salman Khan. So last I left you with saying that you really don't need balance. In reality, there is no such thing as a balanced life. We hear about balance so much that we think that it's the only thing which we need in our life, giving each and every second exactly to the perfect things, doing things in time, getting things done in time, and giving time to the people in your life appropriately and very smoothly, basically. And however insightful or however appealing this sounds, it is an inevitable thing which will never occur. Keep that in mind. A balanced life is a lie. In fact, there is an act of balancing, like it's the ing form of that particular verb. Yeah, it's called a gerund. Let's check the pronunciation. Yes, it's gerund. That's what she said. So basically, the author says there is an act of balancing which is a never ending state. Just like I was cycling right now, and I didn't even know my body was making so many tiny adjustments in order for me to not crash somewhere or not just kiss some other car's tail light. You know, that's the thing. So there is an act of balancing which occurs always, and there is not a balanced life. It's an act of balancing. You have to keep that in mind. So basically, how do you perform this act of balancing and how can you use it in your life? Let's get deep into this shit. Firstly, you have to understand that nothing happens in the middle. What does that mean for you? You can look at this diagram. There is work and life, and it's divided and it's going forward with time. And these zigzags basically are you just bouncing back from work to life, work to life, work to life every now and then. Maybe you can make use of this picture then. Now you can see by the picture itself that you are not making any good impact from your so-called balance. It's just mediocrity, average, and you're just mid, bro. Come on, what the fuck? So then, when you see this and you think like, oh, I think I should go extremes. And obviously anyone with a little bit of brains will think that oh, I should go to the extremes then. And let me tell you that this was me for the very first time I thought about, working and getting my life straight. I went to the extremes. And so because of this, I really couldn't give time to any of these things. Neither work, neither life. It was a whole chaotic experience when I went extreme. And when we think about this extreme things, we all know that entrepreneur who works a lot, he's in the extremes and he is very successful though, right? We all know that one athlete who is playing a particular sport and he really sacrifices every fucking thing, right? And he is successful. It's quite normal to sacrifice some things in order to get successful or in order to be at a certain level in life. But when it is the cost of family, health, relationships, then you're not doing it right. There is also one honest truth to this. Most of us don't chase extremes because we are afraid of the consequences. We all want to be that successful entrepreneur, but not at the sacrifice of health, family, or relationships. We now understand that success lies out in the edges and not somewhere in the mid, correct? So the thing is, when we go to the extremes, there is again problems. If you go to the extreme left of the work thing, then you are ending up sacrificing the life thing. And when you're going deep into the life thing, you end up sacrificing work thing. That's where a new term comes in, which we call it the counterbalance. The author of The One Thing said this the best. The idea of counterbalancing is that you never go so far that you can't find your way back or stay so long that there is nothing waiting for you. So now imagine this. There are balls. I know this sounds funny. There is work ball, there is health ball, there is family ball, and there is relationship ball, right? There are these four balls and you are juggling these four balls simultaneously. Like the one clown you see in the circus, he does that juggling type shit. I don't know if I can do that. Like something like this. So you are juggling these balls, but soon you understand that the balls of work is a rubber ball, and if that falls off, it has a tendency to bounce back up. But you also realize that the other balls, which is family, relationships, and health, are made up of glass. And if they fall off, they're gonna shatter, or there would be some cracks over it, and it would be there forever. So, what's the trick here, and how do we solve this? Now, when you think about work, it's all about getting the results and it's never about time. It's all about the outcome. We only have to focus on the very most important things in your work bubble. Like maybe the Pareto principle is the best thing which you can use here, right? We can identify those 20% of the tasks which create the highest impact in your work, and it creates the highest outcomes as well. Fuck the small things, fuck making the logo for the business, fuck making the tagline for the business, but in fact actually doing the cold callings and actually making a sale is the impactful work here. For an example, I'm saying the idea behind this is that when you do the most important stuff in your work, you'll always have focus and clarity, and then you can find your way back to the life part, of course. And when we specifically talk about the life balls, inside this particular area, you need to understand all the balls are important. You just cannot focus on one important thing. When I say all the balls are important, in here you cannot delegate or you cannot ignore the relationship, the family, the fitness. If you ignore these 3 or 4 things, then it's going to affect you in some or the other way, which will again affect the work bubble or the work balls. So you need to understand that in work bubble, it's never about how much time you give, it's always about the outcome. But when you talk about the life bubble, it is always about the time and not the outcomes. It's about how much time you can make for your family. It's about how much time you can make for your girlfriend or your relationships. Or it's about how much time you can give for your fitness. And these determine how your life bubble or life balls are. Let's talk about fitness, for example. You have to give at least 1 hour a day, 5 to 6 times a week, and that's when you will see an improvement. Now in fitness, you can't really prioritize that you will only do this one day of full day workouts. That's it, the main high impact workouts, just once a week, and expect your body to change. That's not gonna happen, bro. That's not gonna happen. Similarly, it can be with any other things. So for example, your relationships with your family, right? You just cannot ignore them, or you just cannot delegate those tasks, because you are unique and they crave your attention for some reason and they want to talk to you, and these communications makes the family possible, right? So you have to give certain time. I'm not talking about that you just give all your time to them, right? They can suck up your energy, that's different thing, but at least a dedicated threshold should be given to them and based upon your relationships, and you know it better than me. So those things highly impact for your mental health, and again those things again can impact in your work bubble. So I think that gives you a better understanding about it. Now the diagram for it or the drawing for it can somewhat look like this. Now basically what I'm trying to say is, or what the author is trying to say is, you need to go extremely focused in your work. You need to do all the high impact and high return on investment tasks regardless of whatever it is, and you need to accept that some of them, the least important ones, will get missed out, ignored, or delegated to someone else. And this also puts us in a very good position where we are focused and we have a clarity, and we can again return back to our life and give it a little bit of time which is required, because again in the life part everything is important at some certain levels and you cannot prioritize them. So that's how it basically looks like. You need to counterbalance it properly so that it's always balancing and it's not a balanced state. And lastly, I would just conclude this video with just one thing, that when it's time to work, you work extremely hard, and when it's time for play, you give it enough time so that you at least enjoy it, and you again return back to work with more positive and more energy so that you get the most important things done, and then you'll get more outcomes and the desired goals will be achieved. Cool. I think this video turned out to be quite a mess because I planned it to shoot in park, but unfortunately the park was very noisy. Hope you like this video and make sure you can apply this somewhere. You just don't need balance, you need a counterbalance though. So see you in another one. Bye.